talk broadly here. What would you say the Foundation's biggest success is to date?
Well, certainly in global health, the fact that over 5 million children are alive because of the vaccine work we've done would probably be at the top of the list. Global health was an area that wasn't getting much attention, and we've started a lot of research efforts that will pay off in the future, but already we have those millions that are alive today.
And the biggest challenge?
Well, certainly for the field as a whole, the danger that the rich countries will turn inward and look at the few percent they spend on their aid budgets as a place to cut spending is a big concern, because when it comes to buying AIDS drugs, we know every $300 that's allocated keeps a person alive. And if that money isn't forthcoming, we'll be refusing literally millions of people the life-saving treatment that they need.
You're really worried about that. I heard it at the press conference today. You wrote recently there is no excuse for cutting aid to the world's poorest countries. You say it's simply a choice we have to make with very tough austerity measures, tough economic times at home, really no matter where you live right now. What do you think is going to be done? I mean, you can only do so much convincing to get governments to give what's needed. And at this point, it sounds like you're very fearful that we're going to fall short.
Well, the United Kingdom has set a great example. They are fulfilling a commitment to spend 0.7% of GDP. So in the next 2 years, they'll move up to that level, which is a very generous level that a few countries like Norway, Sweden, Denmark, Netherlands have been at that level. The U.S. is at about 0.2% of GDP, so it's less than 1% of the government budget going in these areas. And even so, with the various cutbacks, the people are the least likely to show up and lobby are the poorest in the world. And yet the impact per dollar of that spending is the clearest and the best value for money, whether you're thinking about national security, future economic development, or just pure humanitarian concerns, that should not be cut.
You're a numbers guy, clearly, and you're looking at philanthropy in the numbers and what the data shows you. You and the Foundation have a lot of faith in the Global Fund, today just announcing a $750 million donation to the Global Fund to fight HIV, tuberculosis, and malaria. And you said something interesting today. You said science is on our side, but the question is generosity. That's the biggest challenge that we're facing. What about the private sector? Okay, you're seeing governments pull back. What about the private sector? What about all these corporations that truly have record balance sheets, some of them right now? Are you seeing enough there?
Well, the pharmaceutical sector has been a good partner in terms of working on the diseases of the poorest. And we're constantly, talking to them about where they can do that better. We actually do an annual ranking called the Access to Medicines Index that takes all the drug companies and says who's achieving the best. And fortunately, they all look at that and have upped their level of activity. In terms of pure financial contributions, these global health efforts get quite modest amounts from the private sector. And they don't have often their employees in these locations. They often don't have their customers in these locations. And so although there have been some exemplary examples, the percentage that's coming out of corporate philanthropy is very, very small.
So is the bottom line here we need to see more? You're calling on corporations to do more in this space?
We were at a breakfast this morning talking to them about giving to the vaccine fund. Global Fund is out talking with a lot of them. And so I do think we can see an uptick there because they like value for money. They see that the need is there. I don't think as a percentage it will come anywhere close to the government donations. This kind of delivery has come out of aid budgets, and that's the main place we're going to have to look. So a cut there would map into additional deaths.